Hey, Dasan here. Welcome to episode 28 of the Day and Night podcast. It has been a while since the last one, about 1 month to be exact. Yeah, a lot of things have been going on in my life, what you guys don't need to know about. All you guys do need to know is that we'll hopefully get back to our bi monthly release schedule again, and then I'll try to kind of sum up what's kind of been happening. So, since last we left off, we finished the Christmas event. We had 3 new units. All of them all very so-so. Like, they're very niche single target, like DPS. And I don't think there's nothing really too much to talk about. Evil Eye is a good general buffer, but then even then, you can't really say like a good. There wasn't anything really exciting happening for Christmas. We did get like paid unit choice tickets, which were things like I think the red ticket and like the green ticket, I think, and one of them guaranteed you like every NAS unit, and then other one guaranteed you like some NAS units and event units, which is nice for people trying to finish their collection, and it's really good to open up people have like options to get really OP units that work well together, like Nazik Mare 2, which was really good with Pimpines if you had got him from the second anniversary. Being able to get Tubeto, which is just a broken piece of shit, which I think ongoing comment is I think she was a mistake, right? I won't stop saying it until it's no longer true, or until power creep hits it so that she's no longer an issue, which I also think is not really gonna happen. But I digress. We've also had nothing else really happened for Christmas, right? There was the undead, and nothing too difficult about that. So I think that would just bring us to New Year's. New Year's is ongoing event right now. I think we got 10 days as of this podcast coming out left on it. Undead, and with it came 2 new units, Shoutier and Slimeco. Shoutier is a kind of very niche specific demon killing unit, just like her other version being a very niche undead killing unit, which is strong in its own right against certain enemies, but besides that, being a specialist hurts you, except for the times where you're just really good. So, I think I posted a tier list, which I'm going to modify later, but not not bad at doing the one specific job, but off for everything else. And then Slimeco is actually probably the best healer in the game now. So it's just that she has a full MP heal that gives an attack and evasion boost, which is kind of like everything you want in like a heal, because it gives you like HP back, gives you the ability to dodge attacks coming at you, and then it also kind of just lets you get more DPS out, which is nice. It's a general attack buff, so that it works with magical and physical DPS. The evasion is +2 levels, and it's tied to a heal, which is about 7k. So it's not awful for 4MP. It's really self-contained. I feel like it just does what Aqua does, except that she does anything in one skill. Aqua has like the heal and the evasion, except that one's like kind of like a buff that gives you more than just evasion. But I think it costs 7 MP all day to do both, while Slimeco does anything in one turn for MP. So I think the mana economy and the turn economy is really good on that. She has a single target heal that removes poison and bleed, which I feel is pretty useful, because bleed and poison, especially on some undeads with that proc both statuses. You guys know which ones I'm talking about if you're listening to this. Will really help your tank from just like getting chipped repetitively to death, which is nice. It's 3 MP, reasonable amount, pretty decent heal number for a single target. But you're normally going to use it to strip the statuses away, because normally you just AoE heal everyone instead. Normally your tank is going to be drawing the aggro of those single target poison skills or bleed skills, so it's kind of nice to be able to kind of refresh that. It gets annoying if the enemy procs each turn, but mostly they will fall into the battle protocols, so they won't poison you every turn. There's like every third turn with a skill or something like that. So it should be a lot more manageable. She has a unit invincibility, I think magic defense shield, which isn't bad for the kind of wave transitioning between like things and undead, except that it's not that. I think it's getting harder and harder to do a good wave transition, especially if you're worried about turn count. And I think it's just how strong your units are allows you to have good wave transition, pretty much. So some kind of cautious people will take extra turns to make sure they go into each wave like fully prepared, and some people just try to be like, okay, I could, my units are strong enough where I can have minimal mana setup or minimal buff setup into next wave, and I can just manage to survive and clear it, right? Uh, Normally people play a bit more cautiously. So like you do 1 or 2 runs of undead, one undead. Well, for me, I do one undead run, and I'm just very cautious, very safe. That's probing out how the attack patterns are, how many turns I can get away with building OD for next wave. Then I do that, and then the next wave. So there's like 3 waves. I'll generally spend about like 15 turns on each wave, even though I could get it done faster, just so that I have like, oh, my OD is already. All my mana's full. I have all my buffs up, and then I go into the next wave and just like blast them with ODs or something, and like leave an enemy with a sliver of HP, and then do the same thing, and then go for the last wave and do the same thing, right? But lately, I think undead content's been getting kind of more dicier, but that happens with the improvement of units in the game. Even though we've have gotten very few strong units, I'd say like Nasik Mori 2 is really good, but only with like people who line up with his correct set of buffs, like Pimp Irons. Two Battle's always been strong, but then we've got like generally like okay units, like even the Shoutier, like the Nasik Shoutier 2. Demiurge 2 kinda is lacking, but he's technically has really high base stats. So it really depends on what units you use to fill in certain roles, right? And that's why I feel like New Year's Slimeco is actually really good, just based off the ability to heal and add evasion. So I'd say if you don't have a really like S tier healer, definitely go Pulver. She's probably like the best one you can get, because I'm pretty sure the other options are literally like Restart, which is collab only, which we'll probably never see again, except for like a long time. Same thing with Aqua, and the only other one is Yukata Solution, and then you had to wait for like a special banner or like the rerun. So if you don't have one of those free healers, definitely pull for Slimeco. If you don't, then you could just skip, save for something else. Maybe next NASFest or next collab, which I might talk about later. Okay, so besides that, New Year's is also bringing back the Shiramochi raid. Shiramochi raid is kind of the same thing as last time. Like he attacks you, and then he hits you with statuses like sleep and seal and stuff, and you can do your best to avoid it. Follow the preset pattern. There's people on the wiki, sorry, not the wiki, the Discord already discussed what you should do, and like what kind of things to bring into it. I think he has damage reduction on a certain type, like physical, but it shouldn't matter depending on what kind of team you run. I know like 2 Battle, even though like they ever put damage reduction to stop it from doing crazy DPS, it doesn't stop it realistically. We've got Guts as a budget version, so technically you go like Guts or Battle physical team DPS, and then you had to be able to keep them alive because of like, of course, you gotta debuff him, or else his AoE is gonna like shred all your squishy attackers, stuff like that. So it's a good chance to grab your own Shiramochi from raid rewards. No buffs lately, which kind of made me really sad, because I think ever since Christmas they've stopped buffing the Gen 2 units. I've gone on to a few discussions about like Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. Like Gen 1 units is all the way to like first anniversary, and then like Gen 2 was kind of like all the way up till like Shield Hero, and like Gen 3 is all the way up to our current like state of the game. And then I think they stopped kind of like near Gen 2, which was like Christmas units, Shield Hero units. So they buffed Shield Hero units just a bit, but then kind of like the Christmas units after Shield Hero in November-ish, they stopped buffing. So maybe they just want to like bring all like the Gen 1 units up to line, and they feel like the Gen 2 units are still perfectly fine. But I feel that is a huge waste, because there's still a lot of units that can get so much better and on par with our new Gen 3 units. Like the Christmas units are an example, not because I have a Shizu bias, but Shizu Christmas would have been really good, and Toma could have used that like MP reduction. And then like the New Year units, I'm pretty sure Ainz and Albedo didn't get changed. Ainz having lower MP costs in some of his things, the same thing with Albedo, would open up new like overdrive comps and like tankless comps, right? Because you could get away with like Ainz as like your pseudo tank, and then use like new Slanko to give evasion and then AoE damage reduction, so you could go kind of tankless, which is an interesting concept, I'd say, because then you can like squeeze like different units in, and like New Year Einstein's nuke with his OD, uh, and then yeah no, and then we didn't get Shiramochi buff, which is a shame because I just wanted Shiramochi just to do more ridiculous things because he's has very expensive skills that don't really do anything, but I just wanted him to tack on all the new elemental debuffs instead, or even increase the percentage of his old debuff chance, which is really low because he just throws like all the statuses at people. Um, which is summarized in a really good meme is like random bullshit go. But yeah, we sadly aren't seeming to get any more buffs for a while, which is a shame because I think they were onto something good while doing that. Besides that, we've also got some new paid things like how Christmas had like the choice tickets, which were really nice. We have some of the lotto tickets now, so there's like bundles where you can get lotto tickets to go pull for like that pool of units, which isn't that bad, but like it's not the choice tickets were the clearly the superior of the two paid items. I'd say it's kind of scummy how it was paid with pure stones for the like paid stones for choice tickets compared to the lotto tickets, but like it's like an extra step and a bit more money, and it's kind of a cash grab. But if you've been saving some paid stones before, it wasn't as awful. It really depends on if like you've been buying more on the regular or not. Um, we also got like NazFest banners, which was the you guaranteed a NazFest unit, and there was a paid one and a free one, and then like that's kind of good to pull on generally, just to kind of bolster your forces. Because if you get something really new, it's really strong. But if you get something older, it's kind of like eh. Like still some units still are like really good in like NazFest because they've tried buffing some of them. Like even all the older ones got buffed. Some of them are still kind of awful, but some of them are like have their niche use. Like the maids, like Yuri is still one of the best tanks in the game. Shizu's still one of the really good DPS. It doesn't hurt to pull like the newer units, like Tubeto and stuff, and then uh, I don't know. The NASFest pool is still some of the best things to reroll on if you're starting the game or not. And then I think that kind of summarizes everything that's kind of happened within the last month. I'll definitely try to be a bit more concise next time because by myself it's kind of hard to kind of discuss how the game's been going so much. I think the only thing else I could wrap up today would be kind of speculations. If you're caught up with the Discord, which I recommend, I think we have Discord links on my YouTube profile or like in the past comments. It's not hard. If you do not know what the Discord is, that I mentioned sometimes, post a comment and then I'll like post Discord link out there. It'll be fine. But pretty much, it's a lot of discussion about the game. And if you need help building your teams, it's also there. And then there's a lot of friendly people who can give you advice about the game. Some of the advice I'll give you is don't play. But if you already play, then they can help you build teams. Yeah, something like that. But anyways, one of our resident data miners was talking about like the new collab coming out. Should be after this whole New Year's. And it is Kumo. So I'm a spider. So what? I think. That was the shorthand abbreviation. I think it's much longer. But supposedly that is our next collab. So if you really like that anime, save up your stones and do some polls. If you don't really care, then keep saving your stones for something you like. I'm personally waiting for Nazarick 2 Cocytus and Nazarick 2 Sebas. So hopefully they come out. Or if you be like, I just want the newest flavor of S unit, then we'll pull for New Year's Slamco. Besides that, I think that'll wrap up today's episode of the Day and Night podcast. And hopefully, I'll come back to you guys in 2 weeks if everything goes as planned. And I get a better setup. Because right now, I'm in a very temporary setup at the moment. So the audio quality might be a bit off. Besides that, thank you for sitting through all this. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.